Starting first with the quick lane bowl with my Bowling Green State University Falcons against Minnesota. The Golden Gophers a 4-point favorite in this game. Game carries an over-under of just 39.5 points. These are two defensive-oriented teams that have a little bit slower of a pace here, and maybe not the most flash fry offenses, let's put it that way. But this game kicks off at 2 p.m. Eastern on ESPN, of course, on Tuesday, December 26th from Ford Field in Detroit. Bowling Green was in the Quick Lane Bowl last year, lost to New Mexico State as the legend of Diego Pavia started up nationally there. Campus, though, for Bowling Green sits just 80 miles from Ford Field, so a little bit of a travel advantage there for the Falcons. Bowling Green also beat Minnesota in Minneapolis 14-10 during that 2021 season, so to say that PJ Fleck and crew have that game in their mind, fresh in their mind, yeah, they probably do, and they're probably out looking to correct that, as it was one of the truly shocking results of that year. The Falcons are without a couple of players, important players, namely all-MAC corner Jalen Husky. Their star running back, Terrion Stewart, has not played since Week 10, and his complement, Teron Keith, transferred. So if neither of them go, Bowling Green's going to be looking at a third-string running back for this game. Now, they do use a 2 QB system with Connor Bazelak being the primary passer and Cameron Orth, kind of a bigger goal line, Taysom Hill type rusher guy, pop pass, short yardage guy. Both of those players are going to return next year, which means they're both going to be available for this bowl game. Minnesota's without their starting quarterback, Ethan Kaliak-Manis, and now they're down to third-string Cole Kramer, who has just 2 pass attempts this season, 6 snaps, and I don't know, maybe $30,000 in his pocket, depending if you believe the rumors that they had to pay him to stay or whatever's going on there. But their star running back, Darius Taylor, has not played since Week 8. I'm keeping an eye on if he's playing. However, backup Jordan Newman came out blazing at 200 rushing yards and a pair of scores in his debut. I wouldn't overlook this kid being an X factor in this game whatsoever. Now, Minnesota could also be without their starting safeties, including All-American Tyler Nubin. Haven't heard anything yet. Heard he could sit out. He's supposed to be an earlier round NFL draft pick. Again, All-American. So if he decides to play in this game, great. But he could be a late opt-out. Now, since opening at plus 5.5, the market's been all over Bowling Green. If you're going to bet them, I'd probably take them to win outright. That's a general, I think, when you're betting bowl games. If you're betting the underdog, just take them to win outright. More often than not, they do anyway. They lead the country in takeaways. Minnesota's allowed almost 300 rushing yards per game in their last 3 games. Like, they've gotten destroyed by multiple backs. Even if Bowling Green doesn't have their top back in there, they could be picking up some yards on the ground. Their offensive line has been playing really well. I do worry a little bit, though, about how Bowling Green is going to score, even with the way that Minnesota's rush defense has been lately. They've had time to game plan, and BG's without those top 2, those are 2 of their better playmakers on their team. But Minnesota does have the size advantage. So I'm looking to the first half here. Maybe that's a cowardly way of looking at it, but I'm taking the Gophers minus 2.5 in that first half there. I think they keep the ball on the ground, keep it out of their inexperienced quarterback's hands. BG historically, not a good bowl team, guys. Scott Loeffler in general is about a 30 to 40% against the spread coach. It's not... they haven't stepped up in these kind of moments before. Last year, it was around to pick them, but they were generally favored, and they lost that game, New Mexico State. The reason I'm staying away from the full game, though, is that Minnesota's rush defense long-term and Bowling Green's ability to force turnovers makes me a little bit... I'm not loving it on this side of 3, of course. So I'm taking Minnesota minus 2.5 in the first half here.